Young children are wonderful in absorbing new language. They can get maximum of language through games and activities that they find funny. Their success in learning foreign language doesn't depend on their knowledge of grammar. They can use grammatical structures very well, they can speak language clearly, but they are not able to say why they use particular structure. Some pupils are able to deal with simple grammar at the age of 10 or 11. I believe there is no place for explicit grammar instruction for very young learners, because they are not cognitively ready for it, not in their first language and certainly not in their second. I reckon, however, that for young learners there is a place for a focus on grammar, not the grammar of abstract rules, but fun grammar which works through examples, games, songs and activities that let learners subconsciously learn the grammar through an age-appropriate critical and creative analysis of language. Children starting to learn English in the first grade improve their listening, comprehension and pronunciation very well. It enables them to become communicatively competent, regardless of some inaccuracy in grammar structures. At early age, the unconscious acquisition process is superior to the learning one, due to the child's cognitive development. So, especially in the beginning, mechanistic approach prevails, while cognitive approach is introduced around puberty. For example, while learning grammar structures there is "there" in the second form, we play a game "What's there in the box?". I put school stationery and different other items, which names we have already learned, and children ask me whether I have a particular object or objects in my box, starting their questions with the phrases "is there", "are there". The main purpose of this grammar game is to drill such structures in oral speech. As we clearly see, through fun activities, children can learn language better as learning becomes natural for them, since these activities do not make them conscious that they are learning a language. Moreover, teaching grammar in isolation can be a dry and boring activity. Grammar should be learned intuitively, through context, and should be inferred through meaning and task. It is important to keep in mind that children are often not able to think in abstract terms and are still developing mental concepts. This means they may not be able to analyze language through a grammatical perspective. That's why I always try to avoid using meta-language, for example passive verb, subject, object, and focus instead on what grammar can do to achieve communication. I suppose teachers' lesson plans should include tasks which use grammar to achieve a goal. For example, while working with prepositions of place, I ask my students to describe a picture, which will involve using different prepositions. The task is not very difficult, but requires them to build up correct sentences. Activities which empt grammar and teach grammar indirectly motivate children much more than just explanation. Since the meaning is an important device in teaching grammar, it is important to contextualize any grammar point. Songs are one of the most enchanting and culturally rich resources that can easily be used in language classrooms. The children adore listening to different songs, though they don't even suspect that they learn grammar structures due to the numerous repetitions. Thus, encouraged by their environment, children would continue to imitate and practice grammar patterns until they formed habits of correct language use. Personally, I try to use as much songs and chants as possible. For instance, while we work with present continuous tense, past simple, present simple in the third or in the fourth forms, or when my little students in the second form just learn how to use such phrases and structures as I have, she has, this is, that is, these are, those are, there is, there are, and so on. Songs and chants are precious resources to develop students' abilities in listening, speaking, reading, and writing. During my lessons, I use the songs in order to teach a variety of language items. Moreover, learning English through songs also provides a non-threatening atmosphere for pupils, who usually are tense when speaking English in a formal classroom setting. Role plays, puppet theater, and group activities motivate little students and enhance learning too. The social dimension of games and classroom rituals is another way in which the brain can attach meaning. The brain searches for meaning through patterning. It looks for patterns as it organizes information. Since young learners search for meaning in the activities we provide for them, I try to create meaningful experiences from which they construct their own patterns of understanding. Once children have learned a concept, they can practice it in patterns and small groups. Pupils are full of positive emotions while role-playing, and that is one more way to make them remember them. Taking into consideration that young learners are growing up with technology and it is normal and natural part of their lives, by using technology with these learners, we bring the outside world into the classroom. That's why the work with interactive whiteboard is one of the most favorite among pupils. Whiteboard is a modern teacher's tool that influences learning process in many ways. It helps in the field of pupils' engagement in a classroom. It increases pupils' motivation and enthusiasm. Interactive whiteboard can be used with learners with various learning styles, so that they can support pupils with different learning needs. The effective use of interactive whiteboard technology can radically transform the interaction between teachers and learners and allows for discussion and analyzing in a visual, auditory, and kinesthetic medium. I create most of my interactive grammar exercises and use the existent ones in online service learning apps. It's a great tool because it combines education with entertainment, so the children can enjoy the learning process. Pupils not only improve their IT skills, but are actively engaged in the process of learning. For some pupils, this has made revision a whole lot easier if they struggle with passively reading information. With bright colors, sound, video and interactive quizzes, apps remove some of the main barriers of traditional textbook learning. There is no difference what grammar structures and forms we drill or revise. It's usually really interesting for pupils. One more way of working with grammar is using Lego. It is more than just a toy, it's also a valuable educational tool that can be used to boost learning across the curriculum, at school and at home. Lego is inherently seen as an educational toy because it encourages open-ended learning and creativity. It helps children think outside the box. With this education, we are showing them, for example, that there are many ways of solving the same problem, by giving them the hands-on resources to bring their solutions to life. If pupils are happy and having fun, it helps them learn, and Lego education helps with that. The tasks are often done in pairs or groups, which encourages softer skills like teamwork and cooperation. It also inspires creativity, which is often pushed out of children as they get older and lessons become more academic. On my lessons, we build up different types of sentences, create interesting stories with the older children, and learn how to make plural forms of the nouns, build up words, and create simple sentences with the younger ones. And since teaching is a developing art, which requires innovative and creative ideas to enrich its effectiveness, we mustn't hesitate to use every kind of teaching resources that we think appropriate to assist our teaching of grammar to young learners.